Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. I'm Bill the Dealmaker.
And Pete the Rookie. Good morning, Bill.
How are you this morning?
I'm good.
We haven't really talked much this week. What have you been doing?
Well, actually, I've been trying to catch up with life so I can get back to work. And I did. I started making phone calls again yesterday and chasing some leads down and almost saw a house Tuesday, didn't we?
Yeah.
Damn, it's true about too slow.
What does that mean?
Too slow, you lose.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes there's properties out there, and if you're looking for properties, and they go fast.
The motto is, he who waits is lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can almost put Confucian says, he who waits is lost. It's that profound.
Well, I'm just starting looking at certain types of property, so if I keep doing it, I'll get used to what's going on.
All right, be specific, Pete the Rookie. You can't say stuff like that. I'm looking at certain
Well, I don't want to tell
properties.
how much can I say without telling. Well, I'm looking at some MLS properties.
Oh, okay.
You know,
are you in the CIA? The FBI? Do you have
Culinary Institute of America?
Are you in a cult? Do
I'm
you
fine.
drink Kool-Aid?
I drink water
Okay.
from Poland.
You're looking at certain types of properties. Dun-dun-dun. Should we call you Pete 007?
Yeah, that's right. That's it. All right. No, if you have to keep watching them though. You know, you start looking at MLS properties and those kind of things. So.
There's only two reasons you don't look at a property.
Okay.
Yeah.
One.
It's sold. And even then, you can buy it from the new owner.
Yeah.
Or
Under deposit?
the seller doesn't want to sell it.
Oh, okay. But what about if they're under deposit? What do you do then?
Still put my offer in.
Oh. Why didn't we go look at it then?
Well, that's a little different story than what you're talking about. Because what you just said is different than what I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, because going to look at a property that's under deposit is another story than I already looked at it, I already know what it is, and somebody put an offer in before me.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They're two different stories. Because if I put the time in and I looked at it, I still got a shot.
Yeah.
But there's no sense in going. I mean, it would have been probably 2 hours for us. I mean, it's 45 minutes from my house.
Yep.
35 minutes, something like that. And then we would have to make the realtor come out and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
not really a good use of our time.
Yeah, the windows, I'm getting used to it, and I notice something, and I you know, your system, there's 10 steps. Get 1 or 2 or 3 done. Oops. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4 done. So I almost got step 0 done.
Right.
No, I have to do that, or otherwise you always think you're losing.
Right.
And you're making a step forward, you got to take it as a win.
Good.
So keep going.
All right, good. So I think we're going to talk about some of that today. But we're on episode number 61.
What happened to 60? Is that last week?
That was last week, yeah.
All right.
The Lost Chapter, How to Begin.
Oh, yeah.
We did that last week. That was in July.
I remember the show.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Good. So we're on episode number 61, and today is the name of the show is a special talk on personality marketing.
Uh-oh. No, don't go there. What do you mean? Personality marketing?
Yeah, it's
I have
specific type of marketing.
I have no idea what that is. Go ahead.
Yeah,
you've never said this before.
No. Well,
you have secrets.
Yeah.
You're holding out on us.
I definitely have secrets. Well, they're not secrets. They're just Planet Bill talk.
Well, what's the difference?
That's funny.
Yeah, sure.
What I wanted to take the time today to talk about is everything but real estate.
Yeah, enough of that real estate talk. No, but honestly, a lot of the stuff that's helped me is not real estate. It's just getting yourself straight.
Right.
You know, books that I read, like, here's how to get your head straight. Forget real estate. You're not even there yet. Just get you going. So whatever. Go ahead.
Right. So the thing is that what happens is a lot of people, including myself, and definitely the gurus, and for sure, absolutely, positively, for sure, all the HGT TV shows, I don't watch them, so I have no clue. I mean, I've watched some of them with family members because they've insisted that I watch them because they want to show me something, feel like they're educating me on something, which is fine. Because I don't know everything. I'm far from it. I mean, every house I flip. Look at the lessons that I learned just on the house that I just finally closed on that Hamden house.
Yeah.
But look at the lessons there. I mean, selling that house, I went through some FHA crap to the point where I actually have my own contractor's license now. I've never done that before. 12 years.
Yeah.
I've had some bad contractors that I had to get rid of. Actually, they weren't bad contractors. They were just mediocre contractors, and when I refused to use them, they just flared up and their fangs came out. They were just passive-aggressive people, if you would say it in a common language. Very passive-aggressive.
You poke them a little, they go bad?
Their fangs come out, and they bite you when you turn your back. That's the type of person.
When you turn your back?
Yeah, passive-aggressive means that they're very covert, but they're also very mad. And they can't confront you.
Yep.
So they're hostile, and they can't confront you. So what happens is they do everything they do is behind your back, where you can't see it. But when they're in front of you, they act like they're your best friend.
We've all known those guys.
Yeah. So when they're standing in front of you, especially when you're giving them checks, you're the best thing since sliced bread, and they're going to do this. And problem with a passive aggressive person that and I can have all that because I've had lots of employees and lots of those type of people in my life. The problem that I have trouble with is the lying.
Oh yeah.
Because it's all lies.
Oh yeah.
But more importantly than that is that when you, like you said, when you poke them, they bite. And some of them are pretty vicious. So in this particular case, I had a guy that over $500. I mean, he was trying to charge me $1,000 for extras. And the extras were in his contract. I asked him, I never argue with that stuff. I don't want to pay it, but I never argue because most of the time, when you do it correctly, you'll realize that either you screwed up or they did, and either way you can work it out. I mean, anything once you get the facts and you communicate about it, then you can sort it out.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is that so he gives me a list. So I tell him, he says, well, he has extras. I'm like, okay. So first of all, he contracted for, I think, 5 weeks and was there 2.5 months. And my contract says if he goes past a certain date, it's $125 a day he pays me. And that's what my contract says. But we didn't have that conversation. We never got that far. So he's got extras, and I could definitely hit him with, well, no, because I got this other bill, and you actually owe me a ton of money. Mm-hmm. But I didn't go there because I figured, I'm trying to keep things going,
Yeah.
So he gave me a list of stuff that he considered extras. And I opened the contract, and it was almost verbatim the shit that I put in the contract. It was part of his scope of work. So when I went back and actually confronted him, he wanted $1,000. And at the end of the day, what it really was is he felt like he worked really hard there, and that I was making a lot of money and he wasn't, and he just wanted more money because it took him an extra month to do it. And I'm like, but it didn't have to take you an extra month to do it. You know what I mean?
Well, when you leave at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen guys work for you. One guy stays all day and busts his butt and gets as much done as a 2-3 man crew.
Right.
And the other 2-3 man crew goes home at 2:00.
Right. The interesting thing that I realized, and we're way off topic right now, but
and we're talking about real estate.
the interesting thing that I found, which I cannot, I trained a lot of salespeople, and one thing I found with a salesman is he's really good at sales and sucks at his paperwork. Or he's really good at paperwork and sucks at sales. To get one that does both is very hard. Contractors are very similar. Yep. You get a really crafty guy that's really good with his hands, and he sucks at his paperwork. Or you get a guy that's really good with paperwork, and he's usually more expensive, and he sucks at the work. Mm-hmm. Not always, but very common. Mm-hmm. Or that person that's really good at paperwork has crews that suck at work. Or their communication amongst themselves are not that good.
Right.
It's kind of like an auto repair shop. It's like you go in and you tell the service writer, my car goes clunk, 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 clunk. And how does that translate all the way into the technician that's actually going to look at it? It's like the same thing with a repair place. I mean, with a contractor. You tell the salesman. Now the salesman has to go tell the foreman has to tell the guy. So how does that translate into the guy that's actually going to build the thing.
Can't be very good because people don't communicate that well. The message gets messed up, doesn't it?
Which is the reason why we use a scope of work.
Yeah.
Because now it can be now your message could be carried on.
Well, yeah, it has to be written down.
Right.
If you say it, it's dangerous.
Right. Which is what we talk about all the time. If it's not in writing, it's not true.
Yeah. I do a lot of work with text instead of voicemail. Because you go look at your feed, and you can see what time, how much. It's all there someplace. Yep. No arguing.
Yeah. One of the kids was teasing me the other day. I was down at the church, and they were using my phone for something. And one of the kids, I say kids, they're 25 years old, to 28 years old. They're not kids, but and they were busting me on how many text messages I had in emails, because I don't delete anything. The text messages, I don't care. I mean, I've got I think what is my phone, like 120, what is it, megabytes or gigabytes or
Gesundheits.
Yeah, Gesundheits.
Gesundheits. You have 128 gigabytes worth of memory on
in
your
my
phone.
Yeah, 128 gigabytes. So all I know is that's a shitload of memory.
Yeah.
I don't care how many texts I got.
Computers don't have that much sometimes.
But you know what? I had to pay a bill for my wife because my wife's in England. So she called me up and said, there was a confusion with her rent or something like that. And I went onto the website the other day, yesterday, and because I save all my text, I had all the information the lady had given me a month ago. I didn't have to call her and get it. It was all right there on my phone.
Sure.
So, anyways.
No, it's smart. It's there.
So, anyways, bottom line is the contractor. So I told the contractor, it was $1,000, and I said, "You're a big boy. I'm a big boy. I'll tell you what. Why don't you eat your 500? I'll eat my 500. Write your check for 500. We call it a day."
Yeah.
And he said yes, but obviously it wasn't what he wanted, because about 3.5 or 4 weeks later, there was a sticker on the front door saying that I had been doing work without having permits. So they
my favorite part is and cease all activity.
Right.
Whoa.
Stop order, yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Without a trial.
And it took me 3.5 or 4 weeks of a lot of bullshit, but at the end they told me that I didn't need permits. I didn't do anything wrong. But it took lots of money, several thousands, doing stuff and this and that, and anyways.
That's when I asked you for the piece of paper with the code of what should or shouldn't. So I have that saved in a nice file, like permits, this, and that's it.
Yeah. So the purpose of the diversion is that even though, I'm trying to give evidence here that I'm not a smartass, I don't know everything. I'm far from it, because every renovation I learn something. Every renovation is something. I got one now on Wilmot Street. The realtor sending me an alarming text saying, we have a problem with water in the basement or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't even know. She says we had 3 buyers say there's water in the basement, or 3, not that 3 prospects, but she doesn't know the difference between a prospect and a suspect. To me, that's a suspect.
Uh-huh.
If they walk in the basement, there's a rug in there. So, anyways. She told me the reason why the house wasn't selling is because when I did the basement, I refinished the basement. I didn't refinish it. All I did was paint it.
Yeah.
And
a rug.
I put a rug down because I figure if somebody goes down there for the laundry room, then they don't have to, they can wear stocking feet and go down there.
Oh, it's a lot nicer than that, concrete floor.
Yeah. So I put a rug down, and when the guy put the rug down, the oil tank sits up about a foot off the ground. So he put the rug under the oil tank, and she told me I can't sell the house because there's a rug under the oil tank. She actually told me that. That's the reason I can't sell it.
Can't.
Yeah.
No. Stop.
Anyways. All right, so we're not in...
Well, wait a minute. What'd you do about the rug? Is it still there?
Ignored it.
Okay. Well, you taught me a valuable lesson. Like somebody comes along and goes, gee, I don't want to buy the house because there's a rug under the oil tank.
Right.
And you say, well, if I take the rug out from under the oil tank, will you buy the house?
Right, exactly.
And then you do it.
Right.
Why do it now if you don't need to? If you need to, you just do it. But
So
the words you use.
That's right.
If I take the rug out, will you buy the house?
Right. But when you have a realtor, there's a via, there's a relay point that you got to go through. But the interesting thing that anyways, I lost my train of thought.
Can you teach the realtor how to say words like that?
If they're willing to learn, but if they're no best, then the one I got right now thinks she knows everything. So she thinks I'm the problem, not her. So which is quite possible. See, the interesting thing is that I'm a funny guy when it comes, because I've been accused of being hard to work with. And what I realize is that when people give me false data, or they're giving me facts that are not correct, or I have some other experience, then I become difficult. And not that I challenge them, but I challenge myself. Like, are they looking at something I don't know about? You know what I mean? Is there something going on that I didn't see? Is there some observation that I missed? You know, like this girl that's telling me about the water in the basement. Instead of sending her back a text and saying, well, you're just being a jerk, no, get around it. No, I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to go in the basement, and I'll probably bring somebody with me to make sure it's not just my observation. Because, my nose is not always good. I don't always smell things the way other people smell things. In fact, recently I've been thinking that my smell has been thwarted.
Really? Smell it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, smell and taste. I don't, because of course I smoke a lot of cigars, so I'm sure that done a lot.
Well, we're not giving that up, though.
Yeah, no, we're not giving it up. I'll go without smell. That's okay. I'm good.
Well, you got your nose enhancer.
Yeah. Anyway, but I go check it before I actually make a decision. And so when I make a decision, and not that I'm right, I mean, I make a lot of mistakes, but I don't feel like it's some reactive, like willy-nilly, like this is how I feel type of thing. I try to make sure I go observe the situation and then handle it.
Well, there must be opinions in there instead of actual facts.
Yeah.
I mean, when somebody says, like, there's water in the basement, how much water, where? Do they tell you that, or they just say there's water?
They just say water. But, that's, there's a dehumidifier down there, so the dehumidifier may not be working. The other thing is it's got rugs, so I can go in and scent the place. We could put stuff on the rug and vacuum it, and we could do plug-ins in the wall, like Glade or whatever they call the plug-ins. And, and if it's just, it doesn't take much in the Northeast to have a basement with a different odor than upstairs. You know what I mean? Because they're below ground. You know what I mean? And they're concrete. So they're not. This is not an open, airy, windowed living space
Surrounded by dirt.
And in this particular, that's right. And in this particular case, it's not even a living space. It's just a basement. Nobody lives down there. It's not living space.
Yep.
It's where the washer and dryer is, and the furnace is, and the oil tank, and that's it. In this particular case, there's a half a kitchen down there. So, anyways. So now that we completely diverted for 15 minutes or so, as we normally do, we don't always talk about the topic that we're on, do we? I have been told by Lisa, who hasn't been with us recently, that it's hard to listen sometimes. But I've also been told that the information we give when we divert is like really good. So I don't know which one to believe.
Well, if you want to just hear the topic and just get to the bottom of it and move on, that's one thing. But if you want the whole story and there's a lot to this. There's a lot of stories. You just have to keep listening. It's all there.
The purpose, that's right, Pete.
That what you just said could be a gem for somebody right now that you don't know. If it has nothing, well, here's what it is. If that relates to somebody right now, it's important. If it has no relation to you right now, it's not important. But tomorrow, that could be important to you.
Right.
Plug Glade things in.
Right.
Make it smell nice.
Right.
Cookies, gardenia.
Okay, so say what you just said. Say it again. A little bit slower.
The information you're giving right now may not pertain to what somebody's doing right now.
Right.
So it's like, well, I don't want to know about that.
Why not?
Because they're not doing anything with the basement, or they're thinking of something else that they need right now, or they have other questions, and that's fine.
Okay, so as somebody that's listening to us right now that's never bought a house and doesn't have this problem, is it interesting to them?
No, they want to know how do I find a house? How do I buy a house? What do I do? Where do I find so they have something else in mind that they're looking for.
Right.
But neither are we talking to that person directly. We're talking to a whole audience or a whole country or whatever.
So when I'm being told that the content that we have is not relevant, what does that mean?
That means that's not relevant to that person listening right now for what they want.
Why?
Because that's just one person looking for what they want to do.
Right, which is
okay, but if you want that, call Bill to get coaching or something.
Right.
Send a support ticket in with a question.
Right.
But we have to cover a lot of topics, and we just throw a lot of them out. So probably right now, 5 people need that information, and 48 don't. Okay, fine.
Right.
But tomorrow you will.
Right.
You will. I listen to all the stuff. Your coaching calls, this, other things you do, and I just park it up there, and when it hits, boom, I'm ready.
Right.
Because one of the problems with this whole business is, what if?
Right.
I don't know much about it yet. What if this happens? What if that happens? I don't know what to do. Well, just learn a lot. And if it happens, then you at least have something in your back pocket. So no matter how much you say, you still make mistakes, you don't know everything, yeah. But you have so much experience, if something happens, it doesn't bother you too much because you can find a way around it. Or someone else would just like, oh, God, what do I do?
Okay, so you're bringing up a whole lot of stuff there, so thank you. So
This is from the Rookie's Corner.
So first of all, very well done, because the first part of that segment that you just did is exactly personality marketing.
Come on, is this a setup?
I swear to God, it just fell into my lap. I had no idea you were going to say that.
So if we just keep talking, it'll show up.
So
personality marketing.
Yeah, so it's like it's like having the right audience, matching their personality.
Okay.
Right? So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But then the second thing that you brought up, which was what?
I don't know.
Oh.
Which part of what?
So the best way for anybody to learn is to actually do it.
Oh, yeah, they're going to have to do it.
So I could preach all day long on this and we do on this podcast. Afterwards we do a post-podcast show in our Coaching 101 group, which if you want to go there, it's $1 for a 30-day offer. For the first 30 days, it's $1, and then it's $67 a month after that. And there's tons of information in there. There's dozens and dozens of videos and training, and we go there for half an hour a week, and Facebook, all kinds of stuff for $67 a month at flippinghouses.club/coaching101.
Yep.
That's flippinghouses.club, coaching 101. So we go there. So I could preach over there. I write blogs. I have websites. I have meetups, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I could preach from the stand all day long. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, we've been doing this for over, a year and a half now, and have we run out of things to talk about? I mean, we got 61 shows. Have we run out of things to talk about?
Every house is different. There's always new adventures, and there's always many, many aspects to this.
That's right. So the real way for me to teach anybody that's listening is to rah them and say, you can do it, and get them to go do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then be there when they screw up. Because the best way to teach somebody is to make them do it. If you want to learn how to ride a horse, put them on a horse.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be a race car driver, get in a damn race car.
That's like the parents who throw the kids in the swimming pool or the pond.
Right.
Swim!
Right.
Blub, blub.
Right. Exactly. Peter. How'd that go? Blub,
Blub,
blub.
blub, blub, blub. Help!
Your poor kids. They must be traumatized. I can see it now. Pete throws them in the bathtub. Swim!
No, they think this is normal. They grew up with this.
Oh, they think it's normal.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well, though.
Or you think that they think it's normal. Maybe they actually figured it out and they haven't told you.
They still keep coming around. I don't give them that much money.
Yeah, your wife does.
No.
She does their laundry and cooks for them or something. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The biggest fear that people have is what happens if there's a pitfall in the road or some pothole in the road that I don't know about, and I'm going to lose money or it's going to cost me blah blah blah, right? Well, that's what the coaching's for. That's the whole premise of my coaching, and you don't even have to be part of my coaching. But to be honest with you, that's all bullcrap. That's all stuff you're talking about in your head. Because if you do a lease option, or if you do a slot deal, or you do an option deal, or you do a wholesale deal, there is no risk. So you screw it up, and the worst case scenario is the person you're buying the house from yells at you for 10 minutes on the phone because they're pissed off, which doesn't happen if you do it correctly, which means just stay in communication with them all the way along and tell them what's going on and be truthful.
Yeah.
It won't be that bad. So it's like...
They make no promises. You tell them you'll try to do this for them.
Right. So there's no need to have me or anybody behind you. Just go find a freaking slot deal. And if you don't know what a slot deal is, go to flippinghouses.club/coaching101. Pay a freaking $1 for 30 days worth of training and figure it out.
I will lend the $1 at 9% interest if you need it.
If you can't do that, if you're not going there and doing that, I can't help you.
Yeah. See, my point is, if you keep listening to the show and read books and do everything you have to do, you at least have some data to feel a little assured to at least try.
Right.
Just to get going. If you're afraid to try, you're not sure, keep listening until you feel confident enough. I had to do it for years.
Right.
A seminar here or a few weekends there, and then finally okay, I think I know enough to try this. It isn't that dangerous, and I jumped in.
Right.
Of course, I jumped in calling you because that's safer with a coach and a mentor.
Right.
But I had to get to the point where, okay, I don't think this is that dangerous. I can't, I have enough money to do this little that I need to do, and jumped in. So
right.
all the data makes you feel at least knowledgeable enough to give it a shot.
Makes sense. The point that I'm trying to make is that you don't have risk if you're doing these deals.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, the point of today's show is called personality marketing. The real problem is not doing deals, because here's what I notice with my coaching clients. The guy that's not doing his mail, not putting on his mail, okay? His problem is not the mail. Normally we talk about in our study when we talk about studying, there's the thing called too steep of a gradient. So if you have an auto mechanic that's working on a car, maybe he has a misunderstood or a problem with working on the lawnmower, and he went from the lawnmower to the car, and it's too steep of a gradient, right? So that happens in real estate very much. There's too steep of a gradient. You'll be doing some sort of a deal, and then all of a sudden you're thrown in with lawyers and all the vicious in the shark water, and you're like, all these misunderstood words and language, all this stuff, which we're big on. We're weird about it. I get that, but honestly, if you don't understand the contracts and the words on the contracts, then to the degree,
well, how do you defend yourself?
Right. To the degree that you don't understand the contracts and the language is to the degree that you're not in control.
Yeah. You can get taken advantage of.
Right.
He said, she said, and you don't know, so you trust somebody's opinion. Read it.
Right. So in this particular case, it's reverse. Instead of too steep of a gradient, it's actually the other way. Because if I have someone in the coaching group that's having problems with mail, their problem is not mail. Their problem is talking on the phone.
Yeah. We talked about that.
It's reverse.
Yeah, because they're afraid of doing the next step. So you don't want to do this because I'll have to do that then.
Right, and it's below your conscious awareness, so you don't even know you're doing it, or there's something about answering the phone, whether it's your schedule or you don't have that stuff worked out, so the mail doesn't get done, or you might have, you get the mail out and you're good at calling your prospect suspect forms and figuring that out. But now you don't know how to make the right offer. So now you won't call the prospect suspect forms.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you'll do the mail, you'll do the prospect suspect forms, you'll go look at the house and make an offer, or you won't. So you'll look at the house and then you'll be like, I don't know what to do, because you don't know which paperwork to use.
Yeah.
So you may not be clear on the offer you make. So if you understand the paperwork, then you'll understand which deal to use. And I just realized that recently. The reason why a lot of people have trouble with which deal to use is because they're not paying attention to paperwork. So if I teach the paperwork more often, it'll clarify what the deal can do and can't do.
It's funny. You talk a lot about doing things step by step by gradient, which is correct. And everybody says, step-by-step approach to whatever it is. But there's something to be said for reverse engineering.
Right.
Working it backwards. I've heard the best advice I ever heard on how to teach someone to drive.
Yep.
Is teach them how to stop.
Right.
How to hit the brakes.
Right.
What do you mean? Well, how do you hit the brakes without driving? Well, you just let go of the pedal, 2 miles an hour, and just touch the brake. Oh, you almost smash your face. Okay,
right.
Wait a minute. And you get good enough that you can do the brakes, and then you're not as afraid to drive because you know you can stop.
Right.
So it's reverse engineered back. So I don't know. Sometimes we have to teach it this way, and maybe sometimes we have to teach it that way.
Right.
I mean, if I went to a seminar on real estate, the last thing I want to learn my first day there is how to do the paperwork.
Exactly.
Right? I don't know that. Matter of fact, when I went to your first few meetups, you're talking about deal structuring and how to construct the offers. I'm thinking, that's nice, but I don't even have a house yet.
Right.
Why don't you show me how to get a house? But then I realized, what good is that if I don't know how to do the offer?
Right.
So everything revolves around how to make the offer.
Right.
So maybe that's ground zero in a sense, right?
Yep.
Everything leading up to it and then leading from it.
Yep.
That's interesting, Bill. Reverse engineer it. So a person should look at the steps, right? And see which ones they feel comfortable with, have some knowledge of, And the one maybe with the biggest hole, go learn more about it. I'm guessing because I have to debug myself. I had a real serious talk myself the last week or two about my own calls. I was stuck on something, and I sorted it out and started hitting the phone and had a good time again. It's crazy.
Right.
You think it's going to be bad, and you start doing it like, this is cool. The people are nice, and that's not good. That's not good. Maybe this one.
I'm going to tell you that after training a lot of salespeople in my careers, and I mean throughout different industries, okay, one of the things that I do realize is that when a salesperson's stats go down, and you are, in this case, I'm talking to you about a salesperson because you're trying to sell the idea of somebody like giving their house to you, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a salesman's job. I'm not saying that. I'm just giving you an example. But one thing that I notice is when something like what you just said, there's a slump.
Yep.
It's because there was an asshole on your line, in your ears before, and you still have stuck attention on it. He said something to you, and you didn't have a rebuttal, or they stopped you in your tracks, and you had this motion, and they stopped you in your tracks, and they got you. Or even worse than that, they said something, and you fell into mutual agreement with them.
Oh yeah.
That maybe that this is true.
Oh yeah, he's right. That screws your whole plan.
And I will tell you, in this business, that is the biggest disease because what happens is that what we're looking for is not common. We're not for somebody to give you their deed to their house and keep the mortgage in their name. I mean, the pain that they're going through has to supersede the risk that they're giving you.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to really be good at solving their problem before that has to outweigh the risk.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there is no risk, but they think there is. Okay? Or, to have somebody, here, think of this. To have somebody do a lease option on a property that's living in a property, that means they got to move and go through a whole life change for you to do your deal. Now some of the properties that we market to, they're vacant already because they're rentals, and the owner doesn't live in the properties. And we target that list specifically for that reason. I don't know if you know that, and I really want to get onto the personality marketing, but this is all leading up to that because it's all part of exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so the truth of the matter is, this is not like, oh, I think I'm going to go to Walmart and buy a thing of water for $2.99 and bring it home and put it in a refrigerator. It's like start, change, stop, right? No, it's not that way. And the reason why it's so hard to learn is because there could be so many variables. People think there's a lot of variables. Ironically, I just laid out for you the system. Do your marketing, get the calls, do a prospect-suspect form, go out, look at the house, make an offer, do the paperwork. That's like it, right? And then when you sell it, there's another way to do it. But that's like it. But what happens is when somebody like you and like myself when I first started, like you were saying before, which I don't agree with, and I'm now telling you that I don't agree with, that you have to read and study and get all this information, right? That's incorrect data, because that's like putting a drop of water in the sea. You're not isolating what important information is and what important information isn't. And you're trying to hang on to all the information just in case someday it might work. So it's kind of like a foundation of a house. I mean, if you had the couple pieces of information that are correct, then everything else goes from there. And as far as I am concerned, the 7 ways that we buy houses are the stable datums. If you understand those really well, and again, I'm not pitching my site here, but if you go to flippinghouses.club/coaching101, you can get those videos. There's almost 3 hours of videos explaining the 7 ways to buy. You need to watch those videos, maybe once a month, because those are the stable datums. Those are the things that you need to understand, because when I first started, I didn't have 7 ways. I only had 1 or 2, but I got really good at those 1 or 2, and I knew the nuances of those 1 or 2. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you have, those are the stable datums. Those are the ones. That's the information you need to really understand. Now, I'm not saying you don't need to understand other things, but what I am saying is that's the only thing you need to know to start. And then what we're going to talk about with the marketing in a minute.
Yeah. Well, that's the real core of it.
And if you at least know that's right. It's the core of it. So if you at least know that, then what we're going to talk about now will come together when you start doing deals. So what I'm saying is don't try to go, it's a horrible thing on planet Earth. In America, we have something that is absolutely disgusting as far as I'm concerned, and it's called education. Because we're taught that we need to go to 12 years worth of school and 4 years worth of college before we can work.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have to learn everything before you can work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happened before all the colleges were around? I mean, how did craftsmen, how did the Egyptians build those big, beautiful pyramids? Did they have to go through 13 or 18 years worth of school? No. When you were 13 years old or 12 years old and strong enough to go out and work, you worked and somebody taught you how to do it as you went. That's all I'm saying. And believe it or not, I'm a freak in today's society because I'm promoting, let me teach you as you go. That's the oldest thing on planet Earth. How do you think we did it for all these years before these big colleges came along? And there's nothing wrong with colleges. You want to be a doctor, good. You want to be a lawyer, good.
No, there's certain professions you need a lot of training. Just they won't let you do it. But how many bazillionaires and millionaires became that way that never went to college?
Right. And even worse than that, go look for. I will pay somebody handsomely, not ransomly, handsomely, if they can go find a real estate college right now. And you keep talking about making one of those.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't want to do it, but I was thinking the other day, I was making some phone calls, and it dawned on me that I was telling people that we're highly trained professional home buyers.
Yeah.
That we have a number of ways to structure deals for the optimum for the seller and the buyer, us, them, everybody. And I didn't say this out loud, but your training is 10 to 20 times what a realtor gets.
Right.
Right?
Oh, more than that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make a ridiculous number, but like 20, 30 times the amount of money and time and effort to learn the business.
Right.
And, I mean, maybe some people just listening have spent more effort and time
right.
than a realtor. No offense to the realtor, but they have one thing they do, and there's many other things that can be done. If that doesn't work, there's other ways.
That's right.
There's just more options, period.
Correct.
I'm an options guy, not that kind. I want to know, if somebody asks me a question, I go, A, B, or C, pick one.
Right.
You have 7 offers, 1 to 7, pick one.
Right.
Not just one.
Right.
Oh, that doesn't work. You're screwed.
Right. And you don't even have to pick one the way I do it. All you got to do is just do the math, and it does it for you, and it tells you, which the loan to value ratio, or what are they willing to take. So if a guy has a $100,000 house and he owes $60,000, you could do you could do any one of a wholesale deal and go right up the ladder, and you know which offer to do, and you do one at a time until one indicates to the guy, and you do that one.
Yep.
It's not hard.
Nope.
What's hard is the way people think about it. You don't have to think about it. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll learn.
Yep.
You can't screw up an offer. I'm in a house with my daughter yesterday, and I'm with my son-in-law, right? And I'm kind of been, nicey, kind of like nicey. Oh, it's my daughter. This is a big decision. I have to grant them a lot of being this, what do they want to do? What do they want to be? And I'm in a house yesterday, and I'm like, F that. I'm done with this program. We're looking at a house. I'm wasting too much time here. So we go look at another house, and I walk around the house, and I look at the house before I even get through 2 rooms out of the entire house. I said to the realtor, "Go get a contract." So I pulled my son-in-law all back, and I said to him, "Josh, I just want to make sure that everything's okay." I said, because right now I'm running you over, dude. I just jumped on my bulldozer, and you're in trouble.
You're
right?
bulldozed.
And the reason why is because I said to him, "We're only making an offer. We haven't bought the house yet.
Yeah.
There is no repercussion to you at all."
Yeah.
Until we sign the deed. We have a long way to go between here and there. So we're going to build a bridge and see if it's worth it. So people think, oh, I made an offer. They bought a house. No. No.
Yeah.
I buy 7 or 8 houses a month to close on 2 or 3.
Well, if you don't make the offer, somebody else will. You're not even in the game. At least get in the game.
At least let the guy know what your intentions are. The girl know what your intentions are and what you're capable of doing. That's what you're doing. You're letting them know what you're capable of doing. Which, by the way, all this falls into personality marketing.
I'm dying to hear.
Okay, so let's just get into it, because we've been talking about it the entire show.
And I still don't know what it is.
Right. Okay. So
I even said it. Apparently, I don't even know what I said.
Okay. So let's do it this way. So first of all, most of the people that are listening to us right now, okay, are probably beginners, meaning they haven't done a property, or they've done 1 or 2, and they're kind of like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's because they have to shift their mentality that they're not in the real estate business, they're in the marketing business, and they're in the money business.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you need to do is you need to cast your net as far as you can go, and you need to get the right people into your net, and then reel them in, and then you're selling them money. And real estate is just the bridge or the vehicle to do that.
Selling them money.
Yeah, you're selling them money.
Well, in the end, that's what they're going to get.
So when you put a sign out that says house for sale, no bank qualifying, what are you selling them? The house or the money?
Well, the money is the main concern then.
No bank qualifying. So if we go after, we always say that 81% of the population is not qualified for a mortgage, right, in the United States?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we going after?
That 81%.
That don't have what?
Qualification for a mortgage.
So what are we selling them?
Money. The opportunity to get the hands on the money. I can't buy his way. I can't get the money.
Because if they could have had a mortgage, what would they have done already?
They would have went and bought it with a realtor and paid the 3% down, 20% down, got the mortgage, and moved in.
So what are we selling?
The opportunity to get money.
We're selling money.
Money.
Real estate is the vehicle. They happen to want real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So, by the way, that's personality marketing. That's taking your message and matching your market or your audience.
So it's a personality type that has certain situations, problems,
right,
that we're trying to work with.
So let me tell you
Even
this.
the sellers, too.
Yeah.
So I talked to a couple of guys yesterday that weren't the right personality.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I can tell. I mean, I'll show you what I got yesterday, but I'm thinking I don't have a way in there that I can see right yet.
So let's talk about what I'm saying a personality is.
Yeah.
Okay, a personality is where they have their attention, how they respond to things.
Where they have their attention.
Right?
Yeah.
So what is their attention on?
Well, the guy who can't get the mortgage, his attention is on his money. And I'm talking to people like that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't pay my student loan, and my credit's not good. I'm trying to catch up, and I have deposit money, but I can't get a pre-qualified at a mortgage company.
Good. So I opened the dictionary.
You did.
And I looked up the word personality, and the first definition. You ready?
Go.
The sum of the traits, habits, and behavior of an individual that differentiates that individual from all others. So where does he have his attention? So what is the personality? Yeah. So it's the sum of the traits, habits, and behavior of an individual.
Yep.
So let me ask you this question: If I was a landlord, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I completely screwed you out of thousands of dollars and made you move out of my house, and I treated you bad, how are you going to like landlords?
Landlords are terrible. They're all the same, too, you know.
Good. So here you go. So the sum of traits, habits, and behavior of an individual. Did we just create the traits, habits, and behavior of you?
Oh, like the person that got thrown out?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have attitudes now that respond to the word landlord.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's walk the tightrope here because we're going to go someplace where we shouldn't go, Peter.
The profound pool?
Yeah. No, we're not in a profound pool.
Not yet.
We're gonna have to very politically correctly do this.
Uh-oh.
When we're in presentations,
yeah,
what do we hear about realtors all the time?
Well, we're in presentations because those people didn't like what happened.
So how many stories have we heard in people's kitchen tables when we're sitting there about their bad experience with the realtor?
Well, almost one, at least half, or almost one for one.
It's almost one for one.
Yeah.
Okay. So what has that realtor done to their traits, habits, and behavior?
Well, they have a bad behavior toward a realtor. I just talked to a guy yesterday. His house for sale. I'm thinking about it, maybe. Why do you want to sell to somebody like me? I don't want to give my money to the realtor. So he already has an attitude. Why give him the money?
Right.
So, why waste the money on somebody else when he can sell it himself, do something else?
Because there's a huge confusion with realtors because people think when they hire a realtor, they're hiring a consultant to bring them through the sales process, when really what they did is they hired a marketing person.
Yeah.
And once they have a signed contract and say, yes, I'm going to buy the house, they're just going along with the ride just like the seller and the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a misnomer.
Yeah, they throw it into the hands of the banks and the lawyers, and they just FHA and inspectors, and they just ride along as this wave just...
Right, and if they have a bad communication cycle and they don't duplicate well, or they misunderstand things, or they think they know things that they don't know, then it becomes a bad closing because they're giving advice on things they don't even know about, because most realtors never even went through the process themselves of selling a house or buying a house.
What?
Think about that.
Like they don't own their own houses?
Or if they did, they only did it once. How experienced are they at actually going through the process?
Yeah.
If they haven't done it themselves.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you how to make a large business, a very big business.
Okay.
Go through your own process at least every couple months. Be your own customer.
Oh, like that TV show.
Yeah,
that's
right. What is it? Boss something. Undercover boss.
Yeah, the guy goes and he shows up at his own place.
That's a classic example.
Yeah, huh?
Do that in your business.
And his head spins.
Yeah. Do that in your business and you will be like, you'll be scared because you'll be like, oh my God, I'm pouring all this money into that.
Yeah.
Go through your own system. So how about a realtor? Why can't they go through their own system?
Yeah.
They don't do that. Okay? So there you go.
So the personality is just what you're dealing with and the type in terms of what kind of person, his attitudes and
so it says right here, traits, habits and
behaviors. So what are we looking for? Do you have an idea what we're looking for? What kind of personality?
If you have a divorced person, what are their traits? Now it doesn't say these are permanent.
No.
It just says where they're at.
Yeah.
So what kind of, and a divorced person, what kind of traits, habits, and behavior are they going to have?
Well, when it comes to, I don't know, they're a little upset about something or other lately, but they're going to have. My answer doesn't sound right. They might have two houses, but how does that affect their personality?
Okay.
They might have a problem with the house and it's mine, it's hers. She lives in one, I live in one. We have two houses. I'm going to get married to another person. Now there's three houses. There's too many houses.
Okay, so I don't know what you're talking about right now.
Yeah, me neither. That's what I've experienced.
So why would a divorced person have two houses? If I'm married to my wife, we own this house that we're sitting in right now, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm thinking down the road. Yeah.
So you're talking about a different stuff.
Yeah, I'm talking down the road when they want to.
So if my wife and I decided to get divorced, what's going to be my habits, my traits, and my behavior?
Well, you're going to be worried about what to do with the house because two people lived in one and one's got to leave. And then that can be too much house for one person to afford. Mm-hmm. And then where's he going to live and how's he going to afford that? Mm-hmm. So their attention is going to be on the money. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Or just
the argument, how to resolve it with somebody that you just didn't get along with.
It might be just as simple as I'm giving her the house. I don't want to be in the mortgage anymore. I don't want to be responsible for her no more. I'm done. I've given her enough money. Could be that.
Yeah.
Could be, I want to help her. She's got my kids and I want to help her. I don't know.
But you have to find out where their attitude is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, see, I had a hard time answering the question because I know the financial aspect of it. But that's not what works. You have to understand what the person's concerns are.
Right.
Where their attitude is, their personality, what they're thinking about, what they're worried about.
Right.
Okay.
So now we have this divorced couple, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're going through whatever they're going through. So let's say it's an ugly divorce, and they're not even talking to one another.
Now you've had a couple of those, huh?
Yeah. So they're not talking to one another, right? So if they're not talking to one another, how are you going to negotiate the house? How's a realtor going to go in there and handle that?
Well, somebody have to talk to them.
Well, first of all, they won't come in one room together to sign the documents. Both of them need to sign the document. You can't even put them in one room to sign the document.
Well,
how do you handle that?
You have to be the go-between?
You have to be something. You have to be a counselor.
Yeah. I remember at least one story you did that. Mm-hmm. When nobody else would do it. Mm-hmm. You just, I'll talk to them. And you went and talked to them.
Still own that house 9 years later.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Huh. So you have to have a certain amount of confront to do this business?
Well, yeah, that's definitely part of it. But here's what I'm trying to teach you right now. Is marketing is not the magical piece that you put. It's not that commercial on TV. It's not the flash in the pan. Mm. It's understanding the personality of the person you're talking to and then writing a message that will be in the conversation they already have in their head. So now, I'm not saying you do this, but I'm completely dramatizing this, but just to prove my point here so you understand. So if we knew that there was a divorced couple and I sent them a letter saying, trying to sell your house but can't talk to your spouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having trouble trying to get the paperwork signed?
Mm-hmm.
Are you confused about how much the price should be because you and your spouse can't get along?
Those are rough waters. But that would ding in their head, bing, 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 bing. Because nobody's helping with that.
Have you just got their attention?
Oh, hell yeah.
Now can you deliver a message?
Yep.
Go ahead, Em.
So, Randy just wants to make the comment that he doesn't want to give her half of nothing.
He doesn't want to give her half of nothing?
Yes.
Randy, you got no equity in your house? Have I got a deal for you, Randy? That was good. Thank you, Randy. I broke it up a little bit. We were getting a little too serious there. So in Randy's world, the philosophy is when you're married, spend every time you have. So if you get divorced, you don't have to worry about it. Right?
Works for me. Just wind up with bills. Honey, which half of the bills are you? Honey?
Yeah.
Honey?
All right. So are we tracking here?
Yeah, of course, we don't do marketing that specific, or do we?
We do.
I mean, not down to the divorce thing, because you say you're getting pretty profound. That's
Well, I'm picking divorce.
Yeah.
We happen to not focus on divorce.
Yeah.
But if you look at the type of marketing that I teach, and I'm not going to go over it today because it's in flippinghouses.club, Coaching 101. Everything we just recently, less than a month ago, I have taken all of my secrets, if you would. It's marketing I use myself personally every single day. It's my marketing campaign. After spending between $7,000 and $9,000 a month for several years, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars, I've culled some of the best result marketing, and that's what I use. I'm just being lazy. Well, I don't have to go reinvent the wheel. All I know is I send out this many letters to this list, and I get this much response, and I buy a house.
Yeah.
And I turn it up or slow it down based on how many houses I have.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, because you're doing the same thing. And there are people that are listening to us now that are either coaching clients or have gone into the Coaching 101 segment. I have the exact letters. I show you the exact list. I show you, I've done all the research and development for you. If you want to go figure something else out on your own, that's fine. I will tell you, letting the cat out of the bag, and I'm only gonna tell you a little bit, and it's not a teaser. I'm just telling you where my head is at. I have made drastic, and you and I are going to talk about this before you leave today.
Yep.
Drastic moves for marketing that I feel like I can actually buy houses off of Facebook, and I have it. I do believe I have it figured out.
That's exciting. You've been tell me a little bit about that recently. That's really exciting.
Because I think that's the new marketing. So when I get that all put together and I have it tested, then I will be sharing it with others if they want it. If they don't want it, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But I actually have a few things I've been studying my ass off on Facebook. I've hired a couple coaches. I've been testing. We started with the Coaching 101 because all that, we've taken everything off of our website. We put everything into Facebook. The biggest reason is because I can coach in Facebook a lot easier than I can on my website because it's like a forum. You know, people can go in there and just type their questions, and we have 3 or 4 of us that monitor it. I mean, my phone dings all day long with if anything changes in Facebook, I get it on my phone immediately.
Yep.
So if you have a question in there, usually within the hour, I go answer it. You know, or one of my team does. Right? But I've made major adjustments in my business in the last month, and the biggest reason why is because of exactly what we're talking about. It's audience segmentation. Because what I need to do is I need to match the message to the personality. And if you do that, it's not how much, because one thing that I've gotten confused with for many years is what's the response. So we send out our letters, we get a 30-40% response.
Right.
What I realize is that's a great number, and that's pretty good to brag about, but how many people are actually buyers? Or how many people are actually sellers?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. How many people are actually sellers?
Real prospects, not suspects.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I want to work on is the filter of the marketing so that you get better qualified leads. And then I have it automated. And when you see what I did this week, because we haven't spoke, you're going to be like, holy shit. Okay? because it's going to change your life because you're part of all of it.
Yeah.
You know, like you're talking about making phone calls.
Yep.
You're not making them anymore.
Yeah.
I got somebody to do it.
Yeah, because to really do any business a lot, you can't be sitting there in the trenches digging.
I want you to do that so that you know what it's like to dig a hole.
Oh, yeah. You have to. Well, anybody in a business, you have a company like the CEO, or the undercover bosses.
Right.
At one point, they used to do whatever they did.
Right.
They forgot how to do it.
Right.
They forgot how to make the hamburger, connect all the cables, but
right.
they go back to it. But you have to know how to do it in the first place. But then you move up and you sign that to somebody else. You move up, you sign that to somebody else. You build a team. You build a business.
Yep. So the point that I'm making here is that one of the things that I notice is if we're going to talk about we're helping the working man, because that's what we talk about.
Yeah.
Because we're not charging $30,000 for our training. I mean, most of the shit that we give away just on this podcast is stuff that people put behind $5,000 seminars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we're just talking about it on a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Imagine what it's like when you're behind my paid stuff. Okay. So the point that I'm trying to make here is if we're going to be working for the working man, one of the things that I realized probably a month ago, and I didn't share this with anybody, and I'm sharing it today because I've fully developed it in my mind. One of the things we have to worry about is that the working man is working. So we need to automate some of this stuff so that while he's working, it's working.
Yeah.
You know, so while he's doing his 9-to-5er, he's getting calls and it's getting automated. So when he comes home, the leads he has are the ones he needs to call because those are the closest possible to being a prospect.
Yeah, because we don't have time. I'm working. My day job got busier in the summer when it's not supposed to, and it's kind of annoying me because I want to do this other stuff.
Oh, it's because you've been hanging around Bill, the marketing guy.
Yeah, I've been doing right stuff and reading the books and just doing more and more marketing, and it's gotten crazy.
Yeah, I can't take all the credit for it, but I definitely feel like I point you in some of the right directions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You did good this year.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm proud of you for that.
Absolutely. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
small adjustments. They weren't big either.
No. I like to think of it as...
You found your audience.
Yeah, I found my audience, and let's put it this way. You know in Ghostbusters when they have the thing over here and they have the jet thing? When you cross streams, it gets crazy.
Yep.
Now, there's some people who have like 2 job skills. Like, there's a musician out there that's also an MIT grad, right?
Yep.
This guy makes electronics for guitars. Brian May from Queen is an astrophysicist. He builds his own stuff, and he's also a musician. You got two skills.
Right.
It's 4. 2 skills, and you combine them. So I combined this marketing and this marketing. I kind of overlapped a few things, and they just went more exponential. It was simple, but it just dawned on me one day, let me connect these 2 dots.
Right.
So that's exciting what you're saying about the Facebook.
So the reason why we're going to Facebook is because right now on planet Earth, the best place to get audience segmentation is on Facebook.
And that's like specific groupings of audiences?
Oh, okay. So let's, So
I've
what
learned
does segmentation mean?
Well, you have things in segments and parts. In marketing, I've learned like there's different publics. Like people ask me, what's my demographic for my music lesson business?
Right.
And I can't find it because it's a 7-year-old and a 7-year-old. Any job, boys, girls, everybody. But certain things, it's boys between the age of 17 and 22 will buy your product,
Right. So the definition of segment is each of the parts into which a thing or things may be divided.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So we're looking for the type of person that we should be talking to.
Right.
Right.
So it's like you take the exact message and put it with the exact audience, and the likelihood of them responding is going to be very high.
Sure.
And Facebook is flipping absolutely effing amazing at that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially some of the new stuff when they started doing some live streaming.
Mm-hmm.
When you can create custom audiences to your message. And the back end of Facebook, if you know how to do it, it is free. It's like, for me, I'm sorry, it's like having sex.
What?
It's like, whoa. It's like so exciting. It's amazing. And we're going to be testing it.
Yeah.
We're going to be running ads. We're going to be testing it. And it won't take me long, a month, maybe 2, and I'll have it figured out, and I'll have videos made, and we'll be sharing it. I'm hoping to share it in the October meetup.
Oh, okay. That's exciting.
I'm hoping to share it in the October, or we're actually going to do a 1-day seminar on it, is what I was thinking, in October.
Yeah, I don't know Facebook at all like you do. I just go in there and I put some things out.
A couple months ago, I wasn't that good at it, and I've just been reading. I bought a couple books. I've been doing a lot of reading, and I hired a coach that's not cheap, hundreds of dollars an hour, and I just keep paying him money, and it's just amazing.
Well, the zero that I know, I go I look at stuff and I repost things, and I have students. I have a little 11-year-old girl that did a recording at a studio.
Right.
And then I just share that, and people share it and see it all over the country.
Yep.
That little thing people see, anything they'll see. So if you do it right with like a direction and focus, oh boy.
My buddy Phil, remember Phil? We met him in Texas.
Jip.
Yeah. So he told me that back in 2010, he was doing what I was talking about, much cruder than what I want to do it.
Yeah.
He said he bought 4 or 5 houses.
Yeah.
Off of Facebook, and that was 2000. That was 7 years ago. Facebook was like archaic back then. Now, imagine what we could do with the video, with video and segmentation and.
Well, they have a lot of features and things they can do that people just don't know about.
Right, exactly.
You've been explaining to me, like, I didn't know they could do that.
Right.
They could do that. They can, gear things and aim things at places and find people.
So personality marketing at the end.
How does that relate?
What's that?
The personality marketing with the Facebook, and how you connect those two.
Because
explain me.
What I'm saying is a personality marketing is actually understanding the personality. You ever hear the word avatar? You need to have an avatar.
Yeah.
That's personality marketing. You know the traits and habits of your client. You know where they go grocery shopping. You know what newspaper they read.
So this is your buyer.
No, this is when we're buying houses. It's the seller.
Yeah, I mean, well, in a product, like who's going to buy your product?
Yes.
Who's going to buy your pitch to sell the house to you? It's like, who is your customer?
Right.
Buying or selling.
Right.
And the different thing about this business, you don't just sell stuff.
No.
You have to buy it before you sell it.
Right.
That's
but you have to sell somebody on that they should sell it to you.
Yeah. So exactly.
Yeah. So the point that I'm trying to say is that I feel like, because not everybody's going to go do this. This is way too much for most people. They're like, I just want to buy a house. I don't want to do all that shit that he's talking about. So that's where my job comes in, because I will go test this stuff and check it because I understand it, and then I'll give it to you. And like I do the 7 offers. I've got, oh God, 7, 8 years, maybe more, 10 years worth of experience with those. In fact, I still teach that stuff. And there's, we just changed it when you came to work with us, because it used to be 6 offers. Now it's 7, because we moved it around because it wasn't right. Mm-hmm. It made sense to me, but then so we constantly learn. I'm constantly learning how to make it simpler and simpler, right? Because I feel like my job is 3 things. 1, I have a lot of experience to tap from.
Yeah.
2, I've organized it so I've organized it.
Yeah.
And number 3 is I've organized it so I could give it to others. And that started with having to train my own staff. So I had a lot of information, I had to organize it, and then I had to give it to others, meaning my own staff. Because of that, because I was able to do those 3 things and keep it simple, which, by the way, is the last one. I had to organize it and keep it and make it simple, which was number 2. And then 3 is I had to give it to others, show them how to do it. When I started doing that, I realized, So when somebody like you came along, I'd be like, oh, I'll just do this and do that and do this. It was not, I took all my experience, it was organized and made simple, and it was able to be given to somebody else. So at that particular point, I thought, why not teach it to more than just my staff?
Yeah.
And that's where we are. And believe me, this whole teaching thing is a very small segment of my business. I make my house flipping houses. I make my house...
Your money.
I make my money flipping houses. Yeah, sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
Yeah, I saw a post from somebody like, you're not just one of these guys that sells selling, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, this is completely a hobby.
See some
for me.
pictures?
Yeah, this is a hobby.
The house you just sold, you can see on DIY Network.
Yes.
That's the famous TV house.
Right. That's
immortalized in demand cloud someplace.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
but you're selling houses.
this is what I do. This is what I do all day long. I mean, it was bizarre to me because I started to tell you before. I have two realtors that I'm working with now because the one that I was working with, her and I have mutually parted ways, which happens. And I was floored. I was floored. I saw both of them yesterday, and I asked them this question. I said, what is the ideal thing that a realtor looks for in a client? And wow.
No answer?
I didn't get the answer I thought I was going to get. I don't remember what the answer was.
Yeah, they had something.
Somebody that can make a decision and willing to buy.
That's your answer?
That was one of the answers.
From them.
Uh-huh.
Person can make a decision and willing to buy.
And not waste my time.
Huh. Did you like that answer?
Well, let me ask you your question. Let me ask you a question. If you were a realtor, what would you want?
I'd want a serious buyer who can pull the trigger and knows what they want and won't waste my time.
Mm-hmm.
Were you looking for some specific answer? Or
what is that going to do? So what? So you got that buyer. So now what happens?
Mm-hmm.
So answer that question.
Well, hopefully you show them a few properties and they buy one and you're done.
So then really what you want is somebody to buy a property.
Mm-hmm.
So then why are you saying that other stuff? You said the same thing they said.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you say that? So what did you say? I wanna.
Well, somebody who's I forget. Somebody who's serious about buying the house and knows what they want and will pull the trigger.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Well, I guess they're trying to define the person who will buy the house. I think. So
we're right back to personality marketing. They haven't done their personality marketing. What does a realtor want? A closing.
A sell. Yeah.
They want the money.
Yeah.
They want a closing.
Yeah.
So they want to know: are you going to close?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it?
Well, sure.
Okay. I told both of them that I actually have a checkbook full of money right now because I've sold a couple houses. I have a checkbook full of money right now, and I need to write checks for 2 houses. Why are they ignoring me? Why aren't they sending me 35 houses a day? Now listen to what I'm telling you. I have a checkbook full of money. I don't need a mortgage. I don't need a bank. I don't need an appraiser. I need to look at a house for less than an hour, write a contract, write a check. Hello?
Not wait 45 days?
Hello?
Of arguing and FHA
Hello?
and appraisals.
I'm telling you that if I have the right house, I can close in 10 days. Or less if I had to.
Well, I guess my answer to you is, how many times do they run into somebody like you?
Hello?
Yeah, and they can't believe it then, huh?
It's personality marketing. What am I doing right now? It's personality marketing. I asked them the question, what do you want as a realtor? I had to get their reality.
Oh, okay. And you just said it back to them in their own terms?
No. They said they want somebody to be able to make offers and make decisions.
Yeah.
So now when I talk to them, what am I going to talk about? I'm ready to make an offer, and I've already made my decision. It's What does that really mean?
Well, it sounds like
I'm going to write a check. I'm going to buy a goddamn house.
Yeah.
And if I don't buy one in a week or so, I'm going to tell you it's going to get ugly because I'm going to just be I'm going to be like somebody that just came off of heroin.
We have like delirium tremors.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a house. I got to buy a house.
Completely. I'll have
money's burning a hole in my checkbook.
I will have. What do they call that?
Delirium DTs.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Withdrawal symptoms.
Withdrawal symptoms.
Yeah.
Detox.
Detox. Yeah, it's delirium tremens.
Yeah,
the
I'm
detox.
going to be like in a detox.
Writhing on the floor.
You want to know why? Because I got 3 houses right now, and 2 of them are under contract. And here's the word. You would think that this is good. People that are listening would think this is good, but not in my crazy head.
No. What are you going to do when you sell them, Bill?
I actually have a piece of property right now that I told them no 3 times. I don't want to sell them the house because they're bitching about a roof, having 3 layers of roof. And I'm like, you're freaking nuts. There's no 3 layers of roof. So I just decided this is a nuisance, this client. This is a nuisance. So I told the realtor yesterday, you know what? Here's what you tell them. You tell them that I'll give them a $2,000 or $2,500 credit for all their repair list. And if they accept that, I'll sell them the house. If not, tell them to go away. We're closing in 2 weeks. She's got a full conventional mortgage. She's got a clear to close practically. They're just trying to plug the house in. She's ready to go. I don't want to. I'm like, now I got to buy 3 houses.
Yeah, I love your problems.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's just a different side of the coin.
Yeah.
But why do I have that? I'm telling you why I have this problem. My marketing is off. My marketing's off. So I just made some aggressive moves to fix that because I know it.
Yeah.
because I should have been marketing a month ago, 2 months ago. The marketing should have been cranked up, so I have to drink my own Kool-Aid, and I got to take my own medicine and take my own advice. Except when I do it, I'm going to be a lot harsher on me than I am on you, because I know better.
Better you than me.
I know better.
Yeah. But, in all fairness to you, you do have a lot going on with houses and stuff. And, you're a bit of a one-man band.
Right.
I was helping you a little bit with that for a while, but I'm kind of doing my own because my schedule is horrible, and I can barely help myself, and I can't help you as well. But if I could, I'd help you with that, too.
Thus, the reason why I say, if I'm having trouble doing it because I got another job, that means my clients have another job. So I need to fix this, because if I'm having that trouble, somebody else is going to have that trouble.
Right.
So I need to fix that.
That's
I
right.
need to fix it for myself,
Yeah.
but keep that third eye on myself, so I watch how I do it and pluck out the successful actions and talk about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's only right. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if what I got in my mind works 30% of the way, it's going to be like nobody's ever done before. It's going to be it's like what the yellow letter did to the business.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be that good.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be better than that. And I think I got it. I really do think I got it. But it could be a big bomb. I might spend thousands of dollars on it, and it could be a big flop.
It's only a flop when you quit.
All I know is that the people that are on Facebook are not kids. They're actually older people. Facebook is for older people.
Oh, that's scary.
It is. It's.
Well, I know I see my older friends there, but I'm the Well, you know what? My kids don't use it.
It's 35 or 40 years old and up.
Well, my kids are in that 35. They couldn't care less. I don't do Facebook. They're too good for it.
Get on the mic. What is it? Instagram. What else? Snapchat. She's 23. 23, right?
What are people using?
Your age. What do the millennials use?
Social media sites?
Yeah.
Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram.
So check this out.
But your age? Because Bill's saying that younger people, like my sons, they
Not
don't bother with
Facebook.
Facebook. They just don't bother.
I would say teenagers are mostly the ones that are definitely on, but like 20-somethings usually pick one or two. Like I mostly do like Facebook and Twitter. But I mean, like my boyfriend only goes on Facebook. He doesn't do the rest of them. It depends on the person, but definitely I would say high schoolers definitely have at least have those accounts.
But it's mostly older people. It's like 30 years old and up, right?
On Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook has definitely grown to be an older people's crowd.
So let me give you an example of something that happened, and then we'll end the show. Okay? Holy shit, we're way off. So stay there, Em.
Yeah.
So a week or so ago, I was out doing my thing, right? And she's here at the house, right? Which is our office, okay? And she texts me and says the electricity went off, right? How long ago?
Oh, yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, good. So just the approach that both of us took, right? So I go on Google on my phone and I get the phone number for the electric company, and it's a busy signal. And I text her. She's like, you know what's going on with the electricity? Because she can't work. I mean, she's got a battery on her computer, but there's no Wi-Fi or nothing like that. So she's kind of fumbling around like she's at a standstill, right? What did you do, Em?
So, first of all, I would have called, if I had the electricity bill in my name and had all the information, I would have done that first. First of all, because I know the point you're going to be making.
You wouldn't have done that, Em.
I definitely would have done that.
You would have thought about it.
You would have picked up a phone and talked to somebody?
Yes.
This I would have wanted to see.
Anyways.
We'd have to put that on YouTube.
I got a heart attack.
Yeah, Emma's on the phone with somebody.
So what I did is I went on Twitter and I searched Wallingford, Connecticut. Or Wallingford.
Twitter.
I went on Twitter. Because in my mind, that's the place you go for the most up-to-date news. Like, news articles on Google and stuff, those don't come out for hours, if not days later. If you need news that happened 10 minutes ago, you're going to Twitter. So I go to Twitter and I search Wallingford. And I see one person who tweets, oh, my power's out over in the Ridges or something, somewhere across town. And then I see somebody else tweet a couple minutes later, what's up with Wallingford? All of the lights on 68 are down.
Which is
So
a
I
road
know-
in the center of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the main road in our town. So by the person across town saying their power is out and them saying 68 is out, I'm like, oh, it's a town-wide thing. Because Wallingford also has their own electric company or whatever. We're on our own.
We have our own electric company, yeah.
Yeah. So our electricity is just for our town, pretty much. I mean, yeah.
Twitter.
So I went on Twitter, and that's how I figured it out.
Right?
How else?
She's right. Twitter's
yeah.
fast. And the other stuff is like slower feeds.
But she knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, when I was a boy, we had no Twitters or Twatters or any Twitties.
How old are you?
I'm 67.
How many times a day you go on Facebook?
4 or 5.
Yeah. Average person goes on Facebook right now 14 times a day.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's me with Twitter. I'm on Twitter 14 times a day.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. So we went way over. We're way long past here our time, so we're going to end off. So is this exciting? Was I clear enough with the personality marketing?
Yeah, I think you just it's message to market, but you defined it more specifically. It helps me listen better.
Yeah, so it's a better word to say it. I keep saying message to market. It's message to audience, the correct audience.
Yeah,
and you might get less response, but you'll get a better response.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want you to take away, a summary that I want you to take away here is that what I'm talking about is actually using your marketing for a couple things. Not only to get somebody interested, but to actually filter out the ones that are not interested. Because the most important part about marketing is getting rid of the suspects.
Yeah.
And the more you can automate that, the better off you are. Mm-hmm. So if they're not in tune or they don't like your marketing or your message, then get rid of them. So just like Ron LeGrand says, whack them.
Yeah.
Okay?
No, because it sucks the life out of you.
Mm-hmm. Which that's a whole nother show on how to do that.
The vampire show?
Suck the life out of it. That's called the damn time vampire. Dan Kennedy said that, time vampire. All right, Peter. So let's go off and do some marketing, get some houses, get some deals. We're going to jump over in a couple minutes. For those of you that are on the East Coast with us, at 10:45, we go into the Coaching 101 group, and we spend at least a half an hour in there. We'll spend more if you have more questions. But anybody that has any questions about deals or marketing or anything like that, we give a lot of specifics because there's where all the training is. So if you're doing the training and you have a question, now how many people do that, Peter?
What?
They buy a course for $1 or $67 a month.
Yeah.
And the guy that wrote the course comes on a live stream in Facebook and will personally answer their questions. How many people?
Zero.
I don't know a lot of people that do that.
I don't know any. I don't know any.
Yeah. So you're in the training. Now, mind you, all during the week, you can just type in Facebook and I'll answer it. But if you want to talk to me live, I'll look in the camera and answer your question. Emma's behind the scenes, and she will read me the question, and I will answer it the best I can for $67 a month. Never mind all the training. I'm going to tell you just the marketing course. We were selling a marketing course for $297, and we'd sell plenty of them. Mm-hmm. And I stopped selling it for that. I put it in the $67 a month thing. Just that is worth it. And there's tons more in there other than that. So it's well worth it. So flippinghouses.club/coaching101. flippinghouses.club/coaching101. And you can go get that for $1. Okay? So over and out, Peter.
Okay, Bill.
We'll talk next week on the podcast.
All right.
Okay?
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.